How's it going, everybody? If you would for me, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. So I just got done watching uh, this movie from last year, Immaculate, starring Sidney Sweeney, and this was an anticipated movie I wanted to see. This was from the company Neon. And I usually like a lot of Neon's films. They kind of remind me of like A24. Uh, so this was definitely an anticipated film, and I kind of got to it a little late. I got something cheek. That's gray hair. Is that gray hair? It's gray hair. Yeah, I'm getting old. Gray hair all over the place. So yeah. So Immaculate. Um, I'm not too familiar with the actors in here. I think I looked up. It seemed like they're all foreign actors. The only actor I really know or actress I know in here is Sidney Sweeney. She stars in it, and this same director directed Sidney Sweeney in another movie called Voyeurs. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've heard of Voyeurs. Um, so this is him taking Sydney Sweeney and put her in a more like a horror film. This is a horror film, and this is like I said again, really anticipated film. And I was like, man, this looks interesting. I saw the trailers and everything for it, and a while back, and I wanted to actually. I'm reviewing it now because I wanted to review it back then and watch it and tell you what I thought about it. But so I mean, from the opening film, or from the opening of the film, so to me it felt like I watched. So if y'all don't remember my review, I actually reviewed the Omen remake, and this kind of reminded me of that. So like when I was watching it, I thought I was watching the remake to the Omen, and I kind of got into it. Was like, okay, well, the Omen remake was a shock to me because I actually did like that movie. Um, Now the Omen remake, it wasn't necessarily perfect, but I think I only gave it like a solid recommend. But I was thoroughly shocked at how good it was. Uh, so getting into Immaculate, I like immediately I thought I was like, man, this is like watching the Omen remake all over again. Um, so I will say, so the positives, it is a really atmospheric movie. When it starts out, um, it's one of those movies where they set up the mystery within 5 minutes of the film, and I was like, ooh, it like the first like the first 5 minutes of this movie is brutal. It's brutal to watch. And that I think that describes this movie as a whole. It is a really brutal film to watch. Uh, there's a lot of craziness going on. It's violent. This movie's really violent. Some of the deaths in here are violent. You see some torturous scenes at times. Um, I don't like so the thing that really gets me in horror films is when somebody pulls the entire fingernail off. I don't know, that bothers me more than anything. And there's a scene like that in here, and I had to um at times I had to look away, but I forced myself to watch it. Um, but those scenes are pretty bad for me. Uh, but other than that, uh, this movie, um, so people are going to complain. The movie's only 90 minutes. It is an hour and a half film, so it's a standard length film. It's not too long. It's not too short. It gets in, it gets out. So, uh, I don't think this. So basically, it starts off with Sydney Sweeney. She plays a girl named Sister Cecilia, and she's from Detroit, Michigan. She basically leaves from Detroit, Michigan, and she goes to this nunnery out in Italy, and and she there's a whole history and past behind why she's doing everything. And what I like about it, like I said, is the atmosphere. I really Sidney Sweeney's acting is really good. I like everybody's acting down the board is very good. Especially the guy who plays the head priest in there. I've never heard of that actor before, but his acting was really good in it. But I think Sidney Sweeney stole the show in this entire film. Like she's amazing in this. This kind of scrubs my this kind of scrubs my perception of her from Madam Web, because she was like everybody was terrible in Madam Web. There was just no exception. Everybody was bad in that. But I think she redeemed it for me in this movie. She's phenomenal in this. Like she's a really good actress. Um, I don't know what everyone's perception is about her, and I personally don't care. Not only is she beautiful, but she's a really good actress. So she's really good in this. Uh, Even the parts where she has to emote, and there's some really good parts in here. Where she has to really sell like she's in pain and she's frightened, and she does a really good job of that. Um, and like I said, and again, there were some really disturbing parts in this movie. It really is. There's some very disturbing parts in here. Uh, and I think a lot of people are going to be turned off by how slow this movie is. Uh, it does have a really slow setup and a really slow build to the to when it actually gets to the meat of the film, what the film is about. It does take a good while. Um, there's in points where I kind of looked at what time it was, and it was an hour into the movie, and it just didn't feel like the movie was really doing much at that point. And I was like, I was kind of like, okay, come on, let's kind of move this along a little bit, you know. So but at the same time, like I don't mind that too much, because it is setting up. Like once you actually get into the craziness of the movie, I feel like the slow buildup is was kind of worth it. Um, so there are people gonna have issues with that. I think my biggest issue with this movie is um, for this type of film, uh, nuns in a monastery, or nunnery, whatever you want to call it, um, it doesn't really do anything different, is my problem. I felt like the movie, I just felt like the movie itself was just riddled with cliches. You got jump scares. It's like jump scares aren't, they're not scary. And some of these jump scares kind of trash. I was like, it's one of them is like the stereotypical jump scare where somebody comes up behind someone and puts their hand over their mouth to keep them quiet. It's like, why would you surprise somebody like that? You know what I mean? Like, they do that. There's one with a dream sequence that I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, we're doing this in horror again. This is 2024. Come on, we're still doing this in horror. Uh, yeah, there's some cliches in here, and a lot of people, I'm going to tell you right now, are going to be turned off by the ending. I think even really divided by the ending. Uh, I thought the ending was kind of done for shock value, to be honest with you. I felt like the ending was, while understandable, the ending was a little disgusting to me. And I'm not talking about like maybe I guess you can relate it to being like violent or whatever, but the ending to me, it felt a little disgusting. And it felt a little, it felt a little tasteless. It just felt like we need a shocking ending, and I don't think I don't think the ending was, it wasn't necessarily, it wasn't a terrible ending, I guess, if you kind of look at what the movie built up to this point, because they do discuss it throughout the movie. But it just felt like once it got to the ending, I was just like, I was kind of like, why would y'all have to do an ending like that? That's not, I don't know. It just felt like the movie barely had any steam left, and this was the only thing they had to do, was to give you this type of shock value ending. Um, and I wasn't really on board with it. It was this Michael, the director of this. I think I already said who the director was, but yeah, I wasn't really crazy about the ending, and I wasn't really, um, I was a little let down by this movie, to be honest with you. At best, it's a very quiet, mediocre um, horror film that you've probably seen before. You've seen the tropes anyway. Um, the whole main point of this movie, especially when you find the reveal. Then what I thought was weird was, I don't think the reveal, to me, tied too much to the beginning of the movie. Um, so I don't know. Maybe it kind of did in a way, but I don't know. It was a little weird all around, way around, but very disappointing film. Uh, Immaculate. I'm gonna go with a moderate recommend. This is very average for me. It was decent. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna go back and watch it again. Maybe I'll go back and watch it again to get a different opinion of it. But just from what I've seen, uh, and I'm really good at like paying attention to movies and stuff. This one was a little disappointing to me. I was expecting this to be better, considering that it was from Neon. Um, and hell, I like the Long Legs. I thought Long Legs was a good movie. Long Legs was far better than this. Yeah, so, and I had issues with Long Legs, but it was better than this. So, and it was made by the same company. But yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, like I said, moderate recommend for this one. It's all right. This movie's okay. It's decent. And it's not that long too. It's only 90 minutes if you want to check it out. But I will say there are some really slow parts in this. And I don't know how some people will take slow movies, but that's my review for Immaculate. If you actually like the movie, like I said, always hit me up in the comment section, as I have been getting comments. So we definitely talk about the movie there as well too. So that's my review, and I'll see you next video. Peace.